Good morning everyone, and welcome to day 4 of our Easter devotionals. This morning I want us to have a look at a couple of things that Jesus did just before he died on the cross for us and what we can learn from them. And the first is in Luke chapter 22, where we see Jesus and his disciples having what we call the Last Supper. And in these verses we see Jesus taking the bread and the wine, and the bread that symbolizes his body that was going to be broken for us, and the wine that symbolizes his blood that was going to be poured out for us. And it's so powerful here, because what Jesus is doing is firstly he's preparing the disciples for what was about to happen, and secondly he was giving the disciples a tool of how they could remember what he was going to do on the cross. And it's a tool that we still use to this day, that we take communion as a church regularly, as family, and I encourage you to take it at home as well. That communion is an action of us remembering what Jesus did. And when we do remember, it brings something that was in the past into our present. It brings something that was in the past, making it relevant to us today. So there's so much power in that. And the second thing that I want to look at this morning is in John 13, where Jesus washes his disciples' feet. And again, this is something that Jesus did just before he was arrested and before he died on the cross. And there's so much we can learn from this. And I just think it's incredible. Jesus at this point in time knew, he knew what was going to happen. He knew the weight that he was carrying. And, even in that time, he still chose to serve. He still chose to put other people first. And, it says in the Bible that, we are, as Christ followers, to follow Jesus' example. And in John 13, verse 14, it says, "Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you." And what Jesus is doing he is serving to empower. He's empowering the disciples for the roles and responsibilities that they had after Jesus was gone. And I want to challenge you and ask you this morning, who can you serve in your community, in your family, in your home? Who can we serve to empower? And I also want to encourage you to take time today to be active in remembering. And if you can take communion, then great, do that. But if not, then just take some time to remember the amazing thing that Jesus did on the cross. God bless.